All right. So moving on, what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about some power rankings or do you want to talk about the eye test?
I want to save the eye test for last because I'm excited for that.
Okay. So we're going to hop into talking about the power rankings, and we don't have our results yet. Only Tom and I have submitted our ballots. Um, and so I kind of want to talk through pitching first, then we'll go to hitting, then we'll go to overall. What do you want to start with on pitching?
I mean, it's still Tampa Bay on top. Um,
We can talk about it uniformly if we want to as well. It's Tampa Bay on top.
it's Tampa Bay on top for everything. They still run at everything. I wouldn't have expected this even after their historic start that they are still doing this, but they're still doing this. Tosh Bradley's looked good. I hope he comes back soon. Is he back yet?
And not yet. Well, what's his name? Josh Fleming just caught a liner off the leg yesterday. Let me see if they put him on the IL yet. But if they do it, they're just trying to avoid calling up Taj Bradley. That's what it feels like.
You can't do that, man. You really can't do that. We talked about this. We just watched the last episode. We talked about this already. You can't do it, man. It's just I need because this is another guy that we haven't even mentioned yet. If he finishes the season in this 5-man rotation in Tampa Bay, he is a rookie of the year candidate, and he could easily win it if he continues and maybe hits like 150 innings. I don't know how many innings he's missed just based on not starting the season.
Mhm.
But I think he could easily get to the threshold to be in that conversation.
No, I completely agree with that. The Tampa Bay Rays they've pretty much dominated the league. Like right now, the two best teams in baseball are going at it: the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Tampa Bay Rays. Who would have thought? This is just record
This
wise.
is a weird season. Yeah.
Uh,
Um. Yeah. Go ahead.
Pirates. So they did. This is kind of the first time they've actually like appeared in our power rankings at all. And they've so far on Tom and I's ballot appeared 8 and 9 on pitching. For hitting, they've appeared fourth for Tom, and they've appeared fifth for me.
Right about the same. Yeah.
And then overall, we did have a bit of a difference. I had them at fifth. You had them at second. I just think there's a couple teams that are better than them. I think this is
Yeah.
the real test. Like they beat the Dodgers. Good job.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
If they can beat the Rays, then
What do you mean, like 1 out of 3, or like
2 out of 3.
I don't know who's starting tonight? I think it's Shane versus Mitch Keller. I think.
So you've got your aces on the bump.
Oh man.
I'm gonna have to watch a Pirates game.
Dude, this is
It's
gonna be
Mitch
interesting.
Keller versus Shane McClanahan. I watched
Yeah.
yesterday's game.
Today's Ace Day for a lot of teams around the league. So
Yeah, it's Gavin
yeah,
Stone's debut for the Dodgers. Brendan Pfaadt for the Diamondbacks.
I'm
We've
excited
been
for that. I'm excited.
just talking about rookies real quick. Going back, if you've been with us since before the season, we've been high on Brendan Pfaadt the whole time.
Brandon's pretty fat. I mean, he's good.
He's not actually. He's pretty lanky, but
Yeah.
uh, like Otani's
Um,
going today. That's a good day for baseball.
that's what I'm saying, dude. I love Ace Day. Well, half Ace Day. Logan
Yeah.
Webb's also, don't leave that out. Yep, Logan Webb.
Um. Anyways, going back. um,
Um,
the Pittsburgh Pirates are pretty solid. Like when I was trying to do power rankings, I was trying to convince myself out of them, but like they're good. They're really good. Like they're atop the Central through a month, which isn't saying much because the Cardinals are 10 and 20. I don't think we had that on our bingo card. The Cubs are kind
yeah.
of faltering. That probably makes you pretty happy.
I you had to know it was going to end eventually. The offense is still looked good, but the pitching is coming back to earth. Cody Bellinger hitting 300 with a 950 OPS is a little weird.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know, Brad. What are your opinions on that? Do you think it's a fluke, real, salty?
I'm not salty. I'm glad he's gone because if he was with us, it wouldn't have happened.
It's true.
And look at what Cody Bellinger's done. Look what James Outman's done. Like, obviously, I would have liked for him to have done this with us, but like, I'm happy he's succeeding. The thing that when players leave the Dodgers is like they're always getting like shouted out from Joe Davis and Oral Hershiser. They're always talking about like their successes, which I really like. So,
Eh, yeah.
I appreciate that. But with the Cubs and their power rankings, right? They both made it in pitching, they both made it in hitting, and neither of us had them in their top 10 just because they haven't put the two together in one recently.
And that's just kind of the same with the Dodgers. When the Dodgers win baseball games, they win by like 9. And then when
Look at
they
the
lose baseball
Phillies.
when they lose baseball games, they lose by like 1. So like the Dodgers are like gonna be good in both power rankings, but then when it reflects in the actual team power rankings, I have them a lot lower. Where did you have them?
I had him at 7. You had him at 8.
We're in sync, bro. No, are there
No,
any like outliers for my
literally
hitch?
the only teams that we had the exact same like teams 1 through 9, not in the same order. Then our 10 were different.
For all of them?
For the team, like the overall,
Who'd you have a 10? Who'd you have a 10?
the Brewers.
I'm starting to lose faith in them. As a team, the offensive unit is gone. The offense has not looked like they did the first 2 weeks, and I don't
But
know.
as of right now, they are still better than the Padres.
I mean, have you seen the Padres recently? They have been,
They
beating
just
some.
lost 2-1 to the Reds last night. They got grammed.
They did get Graham. They did get Graham. We do have to talk about that later. Juan Soto had 3 2-hit games in a row for the first time in his career. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not a Juan Soto hater. I'm actually, I'm happy that he's hopefully starting to heat up, but I just don't believe it right now. There's a weird adjustment. We talked about his launch angle, the fact that there's a lot of things wrong with Juan Soto right now. And I hope he starts to fix them soon. But let me check out. So before the series. Okay, yeah, never mind. Never mind. I take that back. I probably should have put the Brewers, but I don't know. The Padres, they have the talent. I think I'm still biased on that. I feel like with teams like the Mets and the Padres, the only reason they're making our top 10 sometimes is because their star power and not result based actual like evidence that they're playing good because they aren't playing up to standards right now. I don't expect it to last much longer though. I really do think Machado will start to heat up. I think that Soto is not a 205 batter with a 30% strikeout rate. He's not like that. Everything is good. Just like everything started right with the Cubs to start the season, everything is going wrong for the Padres right now, except for Xander Bogaerts apparently, but he didn't get the memo. But I think moving forward, the Padres are still the 10th best team in baseball at the very lowest. I don't know. I looking at the Brewers offense right now, I'm just not sold.
They've performed better. The
They
Brewers
have.
offense has performed better than the San Diego Padres. Because right now the Padres trying to find the whole thing. San Diego STP. They're 16th in expected WOBA, and the Brewers are somewhere around here. I can't read. Tom,
Red.
they're
Oh, what?
17th.
17?
Yeah, they're 16 and 17 in offenses.
So the better.
Yeah, they're right next to each other. 316 compared to 314 expected WOBA.
Yeah, I mean, one team to me is exceeding expectations and one is
So
underperforming. And
that
I think
means that they're better.
I
Like
guess. I mean, I'm also trying to look forward too. I don't know how much you weigh that into your power
I
ranking.
don't. I don't
You
at
don't,
all.
yeah.
No. Because it's
I just
also like I made my list out of 11 because again, I can't count. Um and I had the Mets at 11 and then I was filling out the form and I was like, "Wait, I'm missing a spot. There's no spot on the
yeah.
form for this." So I did have the Mets at 11.
Yeah.
Um teams that are doing pretty well. Tom and I both had the Rays really high. The Pirates were higher for him than for me. We had the Rangers. I had it third, you had them fifth. I think
I
they're
think
heavily
yeah.
outperforming expectations.
I The offenses look legit and it's good. I mean, I mentioned this at the beginning of the season. Like the offense is gonna be legit. I thought the pitching would be a lot worse, but they're actually performing well too. And that's kind of what you get when you have a good offense and the pitching is performing. You're outscoring opponents. You're winning baseball games. I don't know how much longer they actually keep control of the AL West. Houston is heating up quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's
They
looking like
they made a recovery. They're in your rankings, right? Yeah, they are.
yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of underperforming on the Astros roster as well. Who went down with an injury recently? Someone on the Astros went down with it. Oh, Luis Garcia. I don't know
Right, his
how bad that
elbow.
is. That looks
It's
pretty bad though.
he's on the 15 day.
I think he's gonna get TJ. Do you think it's TJ?
Luis Garcia
That is a
injury.
big blow for them. I know he wasn't like an ace or even a 3 guy, but he was like their number 4 guy who would be a pretty big deal.
Yeah, he's gonna be TJ.
So It's weird that the brightest spot on this Astros lineup, besides the pitching, Brad, what are you laughing at, buddy?
I looked up Luis Garcia injury, and on the side of the screen, it says the law offices of Luis Garcia, PLLC, personal injury attorney in Cloverleaf, Texas.
We gotta go. We got a group trip. No,
Wow.
I think the one thing that stood out to me is, weirdly enough, Mauricio Dubon on the Astros has filled in quite nicely for Jose Altuve. That's another piece on this Astros team that was stolen from our team.
Not
We
stolen,
actually,
just capitalized on.
yeah, Yordan Alvarez as well.
I'm
But
sorry. Who's actually in first in their division right now? Just called up actual prospects.
the Giants need to sell at the deadline. It's not looking very good. We can talk about that later, but the fact that they have one more win than the Washington Nationals, it's over, dude. We have to just hang up. We have to retire. Um, it's pretty embarrassing. I don't know. I don't know what the Giants are going to do going forward. They have too much pride to sell, so I don't really know what the future holds. Um, but to get my mind off of that, I would like to talk about how the Boston Red Sox have actually looked very good.
Their
Um,
offense.
their offense, and that's what we talked about at the beginning. And you guys clown me for saying that they'd be in the wild card conversation, but guess who's in the wild card conversation right now? The Boston Red Sox. And I don't know how long that lasts because there's teams like Houston, the Yankees, Seattle, the
Yeah, I
Guardians.
think their existence is more of a capitalization on other teams not performing.
I think that's true also because Tampa Bay's 24-6. They're stealing all the wins. They're stealing all
They're
the wins.
so good.
They're just like
Ah,
they're running away with it, but Boston has been pretty good, and we're going to talk about a guy that I'm going to talk about the eye test with a couple of guys on this Red Sox team. The offense looks good. I don't know. Can you check their defensive war for
yeah,
the Red
sure.
Sox? They're probably about middle of the pack, if not below average. Maybe they are not. But they're also, Duran's also having a breakout. I don't know if his actual stats are available yet. I don't think his sample size is big enough quite yet. But
They're 25th.
okay, hold on, let me see.
Jaron Duran, he is not high enough yet, but the max exit velo, sprint speed, and outs above average are all very, very good. He's got a 363 expected WOBA, OPS in the almost a 1.1, which is pretty freaking good. He doesn't walk enough though. I'd like to see a little bit more of a walk to him, but
Yeah,
you know
I
what? It'll
I
suffice.
there are some things on this team that I like. Man, what are your thoughts on Brian Bello?
Brian
Do you think?
Bayo,
Yeah, he's been a highly touted prospect for a while, hasn't performed well. Do you think it's past the opportunity for him, or do you think he eventually, has a breakout on this team? Do you think it's too late for him? He's only 23, I think, or
I'm not
22.
I'm not gonna say it's too late for a borderline rookie.
Yeah,
Um, I would honestly, I am okay with him. I worry that he's a Red Sox though. I think there are a lot of teams that could really capitalize on his changeup, could really capitalize on, like, he's got power sinkers. There are teams that could capitalize on that, and then there's the Boston Red Sox, and I'm not entirely convinced that they're the organization that's going to be able to deal with that. Looking at his stuff plus, right? He's got pretty much average sinker at 95, slider at 113, a changeup at 90. Like, they're all slightly below average stuff, but this is all stuff you can work with. This kid's young. He's 23, right? Like,
yeah,
he's 23. There's stuff that you can work with here, and I'm just not entirely convinced he's going to get that opportunity to be worked on in Boston. I think he's going to be thrown into the fire in its success or failure. There's no tinkering, there's no room for error because their rotation's not good. Chris Sale has a good start every other time. Corey Kluber's okay. Like, who's the other starter? Cutter Crawford's actually really solid, but Nick Pivetta
I think,
hasn't been good.
yeah, I think I mean, Kenley Jansen before yesterday, I think it was yesterday, maybe the 2 games before had not given up a run yet, and he had looked like one of the best closers in all baseball, which is weird for me to say.
But he
Uh,
has been for a decade and a half.
I thought going into the season, Kenley Jansen would be one of the pitchers that struggles the most with the pitch clock. He has been someone that takes a long time to pitch. I was going to say something else, but he takes a really long time to pitch baseballs.
To finish.
Um, So I thought he would struggle with the pitch clock, but he has not looked like he struggles very much. And I think going forward, he might be the guy they turn to. However, the rest of the bullpen does not look very good. Cutter Crawford obviously looks good, but I don't know about anyone else in that bullpen, being able to go the distance for them.
John Schreiber.
John, dude, man. So let me ask you this then.
Yes.
At the deadline, do you go for some, mid-tier starting pitchers as the Red Sox if you're in that
Okay.
conversation?
We've had this conversation like 6 times.
We're doing it
There's
again.
not
Back to
enough
back.
starting pitchers available. It's the Giants and the White Sox. I think those are the only two like sellable teams right now with actual starting pitching.
Yeah, I mean the
I
Royals
don't.
are going to be selling, but they're bad. They're so bad that there's
Okay,
nothing.
I will counter you with something. Will
Okay,
someone buy Brady Singer?
how old is Brady Singer? Is he 26?
25, so he's young.
So that's interesting. I don't know if the Royals consider him part of their future plans. Do you think the Royals consider him, as a part of their roster moving forward?
I think the front office is transferring, so I'm not entirely sure that they know what their future plans are at the moment.
Yeah, and we can tell that by their record right now.
Yeah. No, but I think someone will take a flyer on Brady Singer because, like, right now, the reinforcements the Red Sox have coming are James Paxton, who hasn't thrown a major league inning in a couple of seasons. Like,
I weirdly enough think that the Red Sox. I'm not going to be like Aiden on the Yankees, but I'm pretty high on the Red Sox. I don't know if they're a wild card team this year, but I think they're definitely going to exceed our preseason expectations. I think for everyone.
I can agree with. I mean, it's pretty difficult to hit my preseason expectations for what they were.
Yeah, we didn't predict the Rays to be 24-6,
Okay,
but
I did have one good quote about the
uh,
Rays. Remember we were doing our preview, and I said this might be the best Rays team that they've assembled in the past decade.
yeah, and I think you're right about that.
Yeah,
Um, it's just everything's working for them. I mean, even like the quote role players are they all have like 5 home runs. Like it is working pretty well for the Rays. There's nothing else to really say other than that. I mean, it's just they're the best at everything right now, and thus they are the best team in baseball.
it's the thing with the Red Sox is they're solid. They're a good enough team right now. They can't pitch to save their lives. Like they have the one, two, three, the fourth most runs allowed in the American League, but they've also scored the most runs, or the third most runs in the American League.
See, that is impressive. Um,
But that's how you have to do it.
that is true. Let me look up the Red Sox as a team in terms of percentiles because I think when we look at this, I might. I mean, I was watching the game ironically last night against the Blue Jays. Did you see Connor Wong last night?
I saw the home run on a replay.
He went 4 for 4 with 2 home runs, a double, and a single. He needed a triple to complete the cycle, and he accidentally hit a home run. So I mean, he's pretty good. I don't think he's that good. I think that's one of those like role player legacy games that you never see from again. But he had a very good game last night.
How
And
would
that's
you
just
feel about sending Alex Cobb to the Red Sox? Alex Cobb and someone to the Red Sox for Tristan Casas.
that's risky, bro. I'd rather have Marcelo Meyer to be honest, but they're not going to get him up.
You're not getting Marcelo Meyer.
I want Marcelo Meyer. See, if we look at the Red Sox in terms of percentiles, there are 5 out of the 9 batters in that lineup that are above average in like every statistic. Um, but back to the pitching thing. I don't know about Tristan Casas. He hasn't looked good this season. He
No,
hasn't looked good since coming up. He still walks a lot. That's Tristan Casas is his thing, I guess. And I honestly am a little disappointed because I once again had him as a breakout candidate, like I did in the past. I think I've been rooting for this guy since he came up. I just don't know if it happens here or not. I don't. I mean, he's got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have like 8 hits in like the entire season. He's got the bottom 1% in expected batting average. We talked about that. Doesn't matter, but expected WOBA is still well below average as well. So it's. I don't know if you're willing to give up a guy like Alex Cobb. I mean, Alex Cobb has been good, like very good.
okay, but here's the thing: does the next good Giants team have Alex Cobb on their roster?
No, But the thing is, you can't rush a trade. Like when you have
Yeah.
Alex Cobb, you have a guy like this. You gotta weigh in your options. I mean, you can get someone for sure better than Tristan Casas in return for a guy like Alex Cobb. Especially, is this his contract year? I think he's got one more. Or is this,
I thought they extended him.
dude?
Maybe like a 3-year, $36 million contract. Does that sound right? 2-year, $20 million. He has a club option for next year and a UFA in 25. So if they trade him, I feel like they would have to waive the club option.
Okay.
I don't know.
Um. Yeah. I
Um,
mean, it's definitely a valuable guy. That I would not be willing to give up for nothing. So, I think the Giants are smart enough to know that. I think they're almost uh too willing to hold on to players.
yeah, I agree with that. I think, is there any other teams we gotta touch on real quick? Blue Jays are starting to find their form. Angels
Yeah.
are holding on for dear life. They're still above 500 right now, but it doesn't feel like it. Like in my head right now, the Angels are like 5 games below 500.
Yeah, I mean, when there's so many good teams in the AL, it feels like it's hard for the Angels to kind of find a spot in there.
Mhm.
Um, it's still possible.
Okay.
Um,
Because
Brandon Drew's look a little bit better.
the thing is, right? There are 4 teams in the American League that won't make the playoffs right now. That's Detroit, the White Sox, the Royals, and the Athletics. Those
Yeah,
won't
and then
make it. And then there's 5 other teams that will make the playoffs. Like right now, the Astros, the Yankees, the Guardians, the Mariners are not playoff contenders. Or they're
I can't,
contenders, they're not a
I
team.
can't, I can't take the Yankees seriously. I'm sorry. I think it's over for the. I'm saying it now. I don't unless Judge comes back and Stanton comes back and they absolutely rake. The offense is gone, and the pitching hasn't looked very good. Carlos Rodon's gonna have a midseason start, and it's gonna be tough to get into the groove again. I have no faith in this team. I also hate the Yankees, but I just wouldn't consider them in the same conversation. I also think the Guardians are underperforming as well, which is I think a sophomore slump that we kind of predicted. There's a lot of young guys on this team. I don't know how well the signings of Josh Bell and Mike Zunino have looked so far. Has Josh Bell been as bad as he was when he got traded?
Um, I know he got off to a bad start, but I think recently he's been a little bit better. He's gotten his OPS up to a 702, which isn't good. But it's better than it was his 380 OPS in the middle of April.
Yeah.
So I guess he's going a little bit in the right direction. And then Mike's, I'm surprised he's not hurt yet. Um, I guess that's a bad thing to say about a baseball player, but it's kind of true in all honesty. I feel like the Guardians just are a step behind. Mike Zeno's been very lucky. He has
Yeah.
a 339 WOBA and a 284 expected, strikes out 41% of the time, but has a really good walk rate. It's just it hasn't clicked yet. Not this
Yeah.
Guardians roster hasn't clicked yet, and I'm not entirely convinced it's going to.
It's tough. I mean, it seems like everything went right for them last season. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to replicate that again, especially like we mentioned with all the competition in the AL.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to leave some of these teams out because there are like 6 teams that should be in the wild card, but only 3 can make it. So,
Okay. Before we move on to the eye test,
oh
who's making
shoot,
the playoffs as of right now?
I can give you that playoff form. Oh, you mean like who I actually think?
Yeah.
So
We're pretty much sold on the Rays will make it 100%.
the Rays are making the playoffs. But the problem is, and this is my take of the year, man, and this could blow up in my face, but I feel like the Twins can miss the playoffs. I feel like it is definitely possible that the Twins miss the playoffs because Cleveland takes the Central and is bad enough so that like last year, that they win the Central, but if they were in a wild card position, they wouldn't make the playoffs. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think they would have last year.
They would have.
If
Was
they
it
were
92?
90, they were 92 and 70. The Rays were 86 and 76.
Okay, but I mean, even with that, I don't think that the second place team in the AAL Central will be good enough to make the playoffs. So I think out of the Twins and the Guardians, only one of the two is going to make it. Do you agree with that?
Well, I agree that it'll only be one Central team. I'm not entirely sure who I think it'll be.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Royals. No.
Yeah. I'm pretty confident on Toronto making the playoffs. I'm pretty confident on Houston making the playoffs. With that being said, Bryce Miller looked very good for the Mariners yesterday. Might be filling in for Robbie Ray, as a better piece than Robbie Ray, which is a bit of an unexpected turn for the Mariners. Julio Rodriguez has not looked good. He's looked about average. I think it's only a matter of time before he starts to explode again. But the offense as a whole has not looked, what they did last season. I think it has to end eventually. I think I also have Seattle making the playoffs, and then that leaves one more spot. By the way, I have Houston overtaking Texas for the AL West, if that wasn't obvious.
Yeah.
There's one more spot then, and
You've got to deal with who's winning the Central? Guardians?
I have the Guardians winning the Central, yeah.
Okay.
I'm still-
So
I'm
you have
still
to deal from the Rangers, the Twins, the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Angels, the Yankees, and the Mariners.
No, I said the
Not
Mariners.
Mariners, sorry.
Wait, so I got
Rangers, Twins,
yeah.
Orioles, Red Sox, Angels, Yankees. You gotta pick
I
one.
want the Angels, but I know it's not gonna happen. I think I'm gonna go Baltimore. I feel like there's a lot of things going right for this team, and I feel like if Gunnar Henderson even becomes a half of what he was and what we think he is, I think that's a bigger boost than what he is now. Especially if they go out and buy at the deadline. Like we mentioned, there's not many options, but there's potential there. They have a good farm system, so there's pieces to move around. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Orioles. Who do you have missing out on the playoffs? Like big teams missing out.
The Angels won't make the playoffs.
Yes.
Easy.
The Yankees will make the playoffs. Do you agree?
No.
No, man.
I don't know. I can't put the Yankees out of the postseason.
Their offense is so bad,
But
despite
they're the New York Yankees.
So do you think they're gonna go out and buy at the deadline, get a bunch of weird talent? I don't know who there is though.
Okay. I don't think the Guardians will. I think if I had to write it off right now, Angels and Guardians, you're out.
Really?
The Astros will make the playoffs. I think it's a given. It's the Houston
Yeah.
Astros.
Yeah, they just
Will
grabbed-
the Rangers take one of the wild card spots from an American League East team? The team that they would be Boston. This is
This is
difficult.
really difficult, man.
Okay. Okay. My teams that are in are the Rays, Twins, and Orioles. Those
Okay.
and the Astros. So I got 2 spots left, right?
Yeah. You got to give one of the Blue Jays, right?
I think so.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to the Blue Jays. But that gives me one wild card spot for the Rangers, the Red Sox, the Angels, the Yankees, the Guardians, the Mariners. No Angels, no Guardians. I don't know about the Mariners. I don't know about the Mariners, man.
I think the Mariners are severely underperforming, and I think they start to regress back to the mean and, are a playoff contending team. Especially with a big boost in a starting pitcher that you didn't even know you could have, like that. I mean, obviously he's playing
Pitching
against the
hasn't
A's.
been the issue.
Man, I don't. Hold on, let me just hold on 1 second. Let me just
I'm
pull
gonna
some-
go. This is difficult.
Hey, man,
Ah.
Teoscar is picking up. Big Dumper is gonna be Big Dumper.
I'm
I
gonna go with the
can't- I can't-
Rangers.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm not against that thing. I
They
don't
give
know.
me Phillies vibes.
I don't know, man. You can't leave out. You can't leave out the. I feel like the Guardians and the Mariners are in this like really weirdly similar category of good player development, really young teams that haven't had much experience in the playoffs. But I feel like one of the two has to make it for me, and I think it's Seattle. Do you think Texas is riding a hot streak right now, and that you just don't think they're gonna slow because they really can't afford to slow down. If they want to make the playoffs, they really can't slow down too much.
I could see them making the playoffs as a 92-win team.
I see that as possible. I see it as possible too. The thing is,
I think the sixth seed might win 92 games.
yeah, because I mean, here's the thing: there's a world where all these teams win 92 games. Whether it's the Angels, the Yankees, the Guardians. I don't think the Yankees are going to be a 92 win team,
I don't
but I
think the
think
Guardians are either.
I think Seattle could come back and win 90, maybe 88 games.
Okay, here's the thing. Also, right? If the Yankees are already above 500. If the Guardians win 2 in a row, the Mariners win 3 more in a row, they're at 500. They have to win 9 more games than they lose through the rest of the season and be at 90 wins.
Cleveland is notorious for doing that. They love going, but and it's too early for these teams to get in the playoffs. Something has to go bad for the teams that don't get in. That is including for me at least. Cleveland, Minnesota, Texas, Boston. These teams have to start losing.
And Orioles might be there.
The Orioles are flirting with danger, but they're one of 4 20-win teams in the game right now. It's just like,
and they're one of 2 teams without double digits losses.
Yeah, so they're really good, and I because it's funny, we're not even talking about the NL because I'm not worried about the NL. The NL's a little more comfortable to me, but the AL
is the NL comfortable?
It's okay. Now I'm looking at it actually. Yes, I am comfortable because I think Arizona slips out. I think Pittsburgh. Oh, I don't know about Pittsburgh, man. I think Pittsburgh slips out. And I think San Diego and Philly sneak in. I don't know. I don't see the Cubs being a playoff team. I don't see Arizona being a playoff team. And it's weird enough for me to say that the Pirates have 20 wins. It's even more weird to say that they're going to make the playoffs this year. And I'm not necessarily sure what St. Louis is doing. They have the worst record in the National League, which is bizarre to me to say, but they are a horribly run organization. No, they're the worst right now.
They're worse than the Rockies? Oh my God. No, they're not technically. No, they have a better run differential.
They have a better run. I guess it might be matchups because on my phone they're actually ranked lower, which is weird. And it puts a smile on my face. You know, St. Louis. Yeah, they're horribly run. You send down Jordan Walker and you don't succeed. Wow, this is surprising. You know, an average baseball fan can figure that out. So
yeah, trying to find strength of schedule.
I mean, you have to win so many baseball games in a row for this to work. So, I mean, especially when you're losing game. I mean, they have played a pretty tough schedule to start the season. I will say, if you look at it.
Yeah. Okay. Before we move on, real quick to the eye test, right? Last thing, strength of schedule, right? The Orioles have the most difficult schedule left.
That is not surprising.
It's the Orioles. The Rays and Red Sox both have a 509. The Orioles were at 514. The Athletics have a 509. They also just suck.
Yeah.
And the Rockies have a 509, right? The easiest ones, the Giants have a 493. The Cardinals have a 491. Yeah. So those are the 2 easiest schedules remaining. So Cardinals could easily rebound, but the Cardinals have to win 10 straight games, theoretically, to get back to 500. And then to become a 90-win team, win 9 more games. So they have to go at some point cumulatively over the season 19-0, and the rest of the season go 500.
I don't see them as a playoff team. And it's concerning to me that the Padres aren't even in the playoff situation right now. I thought they would be easy NL favorites, but right now it's looking like, the Dodgers and the Braves are in control of the NL right now.
Okay, for the Cardinals to be a 90-win team, they have to go 79-53 the rest of the season, which is a 600 winning percentage, which is doable. It's not too far gone yet, but it's very slim.
I think it's slim. For the NL, it's a little different. I don't know about the Phillies. The Phillies are my wild card right here. I'm talking about the Phillies because I don't know what their future holds. They could finish the season on a hot one like they did last year, or they could just completely just like, I'm not gonna say anything too bad, but they're gonna stink it up, bro. There's a chance. They really.
There are more eliminated teams in the National League. There are 5 teams. There are 5 teams that I have out of playoff contention, and one of them's in the playoffs right now. That's the Marlins.
Is it Pirates?
The
Oh,
Marlins.
the Marlins. The Marlins are tied with Arizona, but I think Arizona has
The Marlins have a
And-
negative 41 run differential.
that's overperforming at its finest. Yeah.
Yeah. So that just means they're winning an unprecedented amount of 1-run games.
Yep.
So Cardinals floating on thin ice with ankle weights. Rockies, Nationals, Giants, Reds, Marlins. Goodbye.
No.
Phillies, Cubs, Diamondbacks, y'all in the same category. Padres, Mets, Brewers, y'all in the same category, and Pirates, and then the Dodgers and Braves. That's my groupings.
What's up? This is Brad from the future. I have the results of the power rankings. Deb's got his in today on Thursday. So we're just going to go pitching, hitting overall. Starting off with pitching at number 10, we've got the Brewers. Number 9, the Yankees. 8, the Pirates. 7, the Braves. 6, we have the Cubs. 5, Rangers. 4, the Astros. 3, the Mariners. 2, the Twins. And at number 1, shockingly, Tampa Bay Rays. Moving over to hitting, number 10, the Angels. Number 9, the Red Sox. Number 8, the Orioles. Number 7, the Blue Jays. Number 6, the Pirates. Number 5, the Cubs. Number 4, the Dodgers. Number 3, the Rangers. Number 2, the Braves. And number 1, the Braves. So we're not surprised. The Rays are 2 for 2 so far, and they will continue to be. Possibly once we go hop over to overall, Dodgers number 10, Twins number 9, Brewers number 8, Astros making a comeback at number 7. Number 6 is the Blue Jays, number 5, the Rangers, number 4, the Orioles, number 3, the Pirates, number 2, the Braves, and number 1, Tampa Bay Rays. All right, back to the episode.